This is Top 5 Tips on Football Manager by Chris Loding. Now, there has been a lot of talk of me on the podcasts. If you haven't listened to them, go and have a little listen, and you'll notice that I tend to bleat on a bit about Football Manager 2015. Now, I am a big fan of Football Manager. I've been playing Football Manager games for 15 years. They're one of my favourite things to play. They're easy for you to sit down. They're not that intense, and you can just play through them. I mean, mine tends to be on standby all the time. And I've kind of perfected my way of playing it. I mean, I support Tottenham. I tend to start off with Tottenham and go from there. I might do a few in the lower leagues. I don't just tend to start as a manager and see where I get, but Tottenham aren't a top team on here already. They've got some good players, good core, but they require improvement, and I quite like that. So this is basically my top 5 tips on how to be successful on Football Manager 2015, and I'd like to think they pretty much apply more or less at whatever level you're playing the game, whatever country. So I've tried to keep it pretty broad. So let's load it up. Okay, so here we are. This is the front screen of Football Manager 2015. This is one of my save games, so this is my one and only game that I've played so far. So the game came out in November, so we're now in January. So I've been playing this one for a good couple of months. I am in 2020, so I think that is 6 seasons I've played. Just to give you an idea, I'll go to my Hall of Fame and show you what I've won. So there I am, number 4 with Tottenham. So 4 Champions Cup wins, so that's a Champions League. I've won it 3 years in a row. 2 FA Cup wins, 2018, 2019. Capital One Cup, 4 Community Shields, 4 Premier Division wins, 3 Club World Championship wins, and 3 European Super Cup winners. So you'd probably agree that's quite a bit for me to have won. And before I get anyone saying, no, I haven't added teams in, giving myself a load of money, this is strictly, no cheating. This is just from me playing the game and through my way of playing it. So, top tip number 1 from me is find a formation that works. Now that may sound pretty obvious, but it's easy for you to go, okay, I want to play my formation like I want to play a 3-5-2. Well, that may not work for you. It may not work for the players you start off with. I mean, over time you could amend it, but my formation that I use personally is this. So it's a 4-1-2-3 effectively. Although this says here, as you can see up here, it says loading formation. So I've saved it so I can transfer across any club I move to. But it effectively relies on 2 solid centre-backs. I like my centre-backs to play. So Kirikez and a guy called Ottorola, they've got good stats for being able to play the ball out. You can also set them to be ball-playing defenders, but I haven't. I like 2 quick wing-backs, which are good at crossing. So Ben Davies and Nathaniel Klein do that for me. I like a sort of defensive midfield anchor man. So I like a player to sit there and just protect it, to let my front players do what they want to do. I tend to have a box-to-box midfielder and an advanced playmaker, but it's pretty flexible. This is just how I prefer it. And then I've got 2 wingers, one that plays more of an inside forward, and then a complete forward up front. So for me, how I've got it with my mentality, team shape, and my instructions, as you can see, I tend to close down, look for overlaps, short passing. So I quite like that idea of I'm sort of trying to replicate a Pochettino style of play. Push higher up, play wide, and close the teams down with some short passing. And it works for me. I mean, it's been pretty much like that since day one when I started. I've worked with it. I've brought some players in that I prefer. And, you just got to go with it, really. But my top tip is find a formation that works for you. Now, my second tip is to make use of the South American transfer market. You can pick up a lot of bargains out in Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Brazil, pretty much sort of top nations out there. I mean, if we just go through my squad quickly, I picked up Cardozo out there. He was a find that I got from Argentina, and as you can see, he's pretty much all round good defender. He's good in the air, good at defending, he's pretty quick. I bought him for 6 million and he's now worth 23. So if I wanted to sell him, I might even be able to get a bit more if I got a big bid in. And it works like that across the board. This guy, Matthias Kranviter, he was one of the first players I think I bought when I got the game. 5.5 million. He's now worth 28. So you can pick up some good bargains out there, and it's good for youngsters as well. I've got a guy here called Renzo Vargas. He I picked up from Chile. As you can see, he's a very good attacking player. He's only 19, and I picked him up a couple of seasons ago for 3.2 million. So that is one of my big top tips, is to utilise the South American transfer market and see what you can find there. It's an absolute gold mine at times. So my third tip, invest in youth. Now I always find this incredibly beneficial because it doesn't actually affect your transfer budget. It affects what the money in the club, but it's not outwardly visible to you as a player. So what I normally do is, Tottenham started with a relatively good youth academy anyway, but you always want to go in here, make a board request, make sure that you've got that as high as you can, so you can see I can improve youth recruitment. I'm going to do that soon, and make sure that your junior coaching budget is as high as it can get, because it will save you millions and millions of pounds, and you can really bring through some good young players of your own. It will also help you with regards to your homegrown quota, which is essential. So I would say whatever level you're playing it at, invest in youth development. It's really important, and you'll every season you'll pretty much get through one excellent player which you will identify to put in your first team in sort of 4 or 5 years time. So it's really important, and it gives something for the fans to identify to as well. They like to see a homegrown player. They've got more patience with them. So that would be top tip. Number 3 is invest in youth. Top tip number 4. Now, this one I think is always important. It's one of the ones that I look for, is to get a good assistant manager. Now, especially if you're playing the full game mode here, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of training, contracts, pre-match stuff going on, match tactics and everything. So an assistant manager will help you out with some of the more mundane tasks that you may not want to do sort of week in, week out. Now, I got rid of the default one that come with Tottenham. I think it's Jesus Perez, and I went out and I found one with the stats I need. So ironically, it's Fernando Hierro, the Spain legendary defender. What I look for in a good assistant manager is their man management skills, so it will keep players happy. I look for the determination. I look for the level of discipline, so don't let any shit go. I like that. Motivating is really important, because if I don't feel that I really want to do a team talk in that much detail, I can delegate it to my assistant manager and let him do it. I can also do that with some tactics, so if I get a bit too shirty with the FA and I get banned, then he can take over, and I know he's capable of making substitutions and things in the right times. I would recommend as well looking at their tactics, their preferred options there, but to me it doesn't seem to have made much difference. As you can see, 4-4-1-1's not really what mine is. I like a closing down style of play, and I prefer a shorter playing style, but the attributes is important. So go for a decent assistant manager, and whatever level you're at, it will really help you out. Okay, my last tip for Football Manager 2015, or any management game maybe, is to utilise free and expiring transfers. Now, the way to do this is look at it when it's coming up to January time, maybe sort of late December, and go into the contract status and see who is inspiring within 6 months. I've got my France filter on here. So as you can see, there is a whole raft of players there. The earlier you get in and pick them up, the better, but I can guarantee you'll find a bargain here somewhere, depending on what level you're at. But as I say, it is really beneficial. I just so happen to look at the expired contracts at the end of the season, and I found one particular player which I'll show you right now in my transfer history. I think I got him in 2017. No, 2018. There you go, Mario Götze. He'd been released by Bayern Munich, and he was there just waiting to be snapped up. I kept an eye on him, kept an eye on his injury status, and got him at the end of January. But I had to pay a bit more on wages. But overall, as I say, he was a good buy. I got him, I played him a little bit, and ended up selling him for 22 million because he didn't really fit in with it. So as you can see, I got him on a free. Made a £22 million profit on him. So there are bargains to be had whatever level of the game you're playing at, so make sure you utilise expired contracts and expiring contracts. It will really help you out. That's my top 5 tips for Football Manager 2015. Hope they help you out. I'll be looking to do a few more videos of my top 5 possibly players and things like that, so keep posted on the channel. Subscribe to us on YouTube, please. You can follow us on Twitter @DimpDigital and like our Facebook page. Cheers, bye.